Welcome to another edition of Behind the Tech. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing these episodically or in some sort of sequence, but today we're going to be talking about how we route the signal back in Zoom and how you can take advantage of multiple sources. Now, I have to admit that I watched a Zoomtopia from 2022, not 2023, because obviously that's coming in October of 2023. If you're watching this some other time, it was 2023. But what they talked about is how they handled the remote feeds is they used an incredible little piece of gear. Now, they're not cheap, but let me show you first off how it looks here. So we're going to go super source. Boom. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I'm going to bring up what it is. Okay, so a lot of you may or may not know about Decimator design. They were the first ones to come out with a product called the MDLX, and it gave true bidirectional. This was before Blackmagic had there, so you could do one SDI in and one HDMI out, or you could do an HDMI with an SDI out, or you could do a combination of basically ins and outs all at the same time. But the product that we use is this right here. This is a DMON quad, and let me go full screen for you. This box allows you to have 4 inputs, one SDI output or one HDMI output. So for those of you who might be using some sort of webcam interface to feed your Zoom, you could use the HDMI via directly out of that. Or you can do an SDI to HDMI conversion. So these boxes aren't super expensive. They're only, you can see, $295. And again, it is loaded with features. Now, the great thing about, if you've ever used any of Decimator's products, we actually have several of the MDLXs around, which actually give us scan conversion, so we can do, or frame rate conversion, so we can do 1080 to 720, 720 up converted to 1080, and this box will actually do similar things. So how do we use this? Okay, so let me go ahead and show you. Let me go ahead and bring up in the super source the other essentially one of the computers that we have connected to it via USB. And unfortunately, this is all inside of a rack, so I can't really show you, but I can show you how this works. Okay, so we're going to bring up the interface right here. And I'm going to go, and let's go ahead and bring this full screen. Okay, so this is the interface of the DMON quad. And you can see the status. You can see that this is Zoom 1. We actually have 2 of these because we have 2 actual Zoom, 2 of those Zoom racks that we built in this particular rack. Control, you can see what it's outputting, the HDMI. And again, you've got some abilities to do some things if you want to. Multi-view. And you can see, here's where you can actually go in and change the frame rate. You can up convert, down convert. We use 2997 for most of what we do, so that's the reason why it is. Now, multi-viewer number of windows, 1. Okay. Now, we're going to come back to this here in a second, because first, before I go too much further, I want to go ahead and show you how this works as far as how we have it routed for the Atom. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to what is the actual Atom control software. Go ahead and minimize that. Bring up the Atom control software. Okay, so let me go ahead and go full screen on this just so it makes it easier to see. Now, on our outputs, I actually have DMON quad, so the Decimator quad. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it has 4 inputs, and what I have feeding it is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Currently, I'm feeding input 1 off of ME2. Oh, and I should back up and say that this is an Atom Constellation 8K if you missed what's on the there. So again, this has the 24 outputs, 40 inputs, loaded. It's so easy to route things. And that's what this rack particularly is. So, but right now what I have feeding off of DMON Quad 1 is I have ME2. And the reason why I'm doing that is I don't want to have the the feedback loop basically with video. Now, let's see what's feeding number 2. In this case, it's ME1. Now, what you're not seeing right here in front of me, actually, let me go ahead and punch this up here. You can actually see there's a clock input right here. And so this clock is a system clock that is always running in our studio. So that clock is actually, if you haven't seen it, I would highly encourage you, and I'll put the link in the information. It's called Stage Timer. We subscribe to it. It is probably one of the best, clock/stage timing apps out there. There's been a lot around, but for the money, for the bang for the buck, you cannot go wrong. Probably I'll do a demo on it as far as just to kind of get you an idea of. Great thing about it is I obviously use a lot of Stream Decks. Those Stream Decks are all being controlled by Companion. They have a Companion module as well. So again, that is Stage Timer. And so all of our clocks are coming off of Stage Timer. So how does that work for us? So let me go back here and let me go ahead and feed the clock into the second one. Okay. Now let's see. What else do I want? So in 3, you know what? Let's go ahead and just put a color. So color 1. And in 4, let's go ahead and put, let's put the color bars. All right, so we got color bars. So again, in input 1, I have the ME2 because I don't want the loop. So in input 2, we now have the clock. In input 3, we have a color. And input 4, we have color bars. Now, if you're running a PowerPoint or you wanted the people in the room to see a wide view, you can set all of these as much as you want. So let's go ahead and go back to SuperSource. Let's go ahead and put the DMON up again. So we're going to go ahead and put that input up. Now, so what does this look like? What's great about this, and I'm going to go ahead and switch to a 2-up here for you. So this is me, obviously, here on the left. And I'm now going to put in our remote. So this is what, this is actually a Zoom computer here on the left. Obviously, don't look at it too hard because you're going to see it's got a little delay there. So let's go ahead and show this again. So I'm going to come back to presentation full here. And there's lots of ways or lots of things you can do. You can do ones, and you can configure these however you want these. And you can then save them. So there's a 4, there's a 3, there's a 2. I'm not going to do too much of a deep dive on the DMON Quad because it has a lot of amazing features. So UMDs, you can put you can put on-air clock on, whatever you want with little tiny names, whatever the UMDs you want. So let's go ahead and switch back to multi-view, and let's go ahead and do that 2-up again. And again, you can see there's a little delay, but and let's go ahead and go to the 4-up. And you can see now that Zoom is seeing multiple things. It is seeing, obviously, ME2, which I have set to this camera. It is seeing the clock. It's seeing the color. And it's seeing the color bars. So, but if I wanted to switch it to maybe a 3-up, again, this is a 3-up. And so what they could be seeing is program. They could be seeing a clock, as well as, whatever's in the color. This is just a great way to show the people on the other end, if you're doing virtual events or if people are participating in a hybrid event. This gives us the ability to allow them to see a clock all the time on the view and also see what's on air or what the viewers are seeing at that point in time, whether it's, they're participating via Zoom or whether they're participating via another streaming platform or whatever that looks like. So I just wanted to dig a little bit in and show you how a DMON Quad can actually be extremely beneficial when you're using Zoom.